This is WKRK 105.5 FM, 1320 AM, cable TV channel 25, and worldwide at country.am. And we are here along with Kevin Hensley, who's going to be moderating our debate today, and Matthew Osborne. He is going to be the timekeeper, and they are from the Cherokee Scout and Andrews Journal, and we're working together to make these debates possible to you so that when you go to the polls to vote, you can make an informed decision. So without further ado, let's go and introduce Mr. Kevin Hensley, our moderator.
Thank you, Tim. Thank you very much. This is a debate, by the way, guys, for the Cherokee County Board of Education Republican nominations at-large seat. So we have our two candidates here in the studio with us, Keesha Curtis over here at the end, and Tylor Dockery sitting directly next to me. So, guys, we went over this beforehand, but just as a refresher course, the debate's going to go like this. I'm going to start out 1 minute you get for an opening remark. I'm going to ask you first. You'll follow. You'll get 1 minute for a closing remark. You have 2 minutes to answer each question. When there's 10 seconds left in that time frame, Matthew will ring the bell and let you know, and you'll have 10 seconds to wrap it up. If he rings it again, you've got to just, and you're done. So with that in mind, we obviously didn't give you guys the questions beforehand, so they have no idea what's coming at them, and that may be a good thing, maybe a bad thing. I'm not sure yet. We'll see how that goes. But before we go any further, you guys have any questions for me before we get started with this?
No, I'm good.
Okay, well, if not, then Tylor, your opening remarks, please. You have 1 minute.
Hey, Tylor Dockery. So just a little bit about myself. Born and raised in Cherokee County, live in Unaka, have pretty deep ties to the community. Graduated Murphy High back in 2014, so not that long ago. Still have a pretty good understanding of how the school system works. Spent majority of my life in it. Graduated NC State recently. Came back to work as an engineer here in the county. Work part-time as advanced EMT for EMS, and volunteer firefighter. Main goals being to build a long-term plan for the school system. I think we've kind of went year by year in the past, and I think the key to doing the best thing for our students is going to be to build out a 5, 10, and 20-year plan and work with the commissioners to have that funded.
Okay, excellent. Keesha, if you want to go ahead with your opening remarks.
I'm Keesha Curtis. I was born and raised in Polk County. Moved to Cherokee County about 12 years ago. We have 3 children in the school system. One is a senior going to graduate from Hiwassee Dam. We have one son that's a freshman at Hiwassee Dam, and we have one son that's in 5th grade at Ranger Elementary. I attended Tri-County Community College for EMT Basic and Intermediate School. Also attended Tri-County Community College for my CNA course as well as my effective teacher training. I'm a current parent volunteer. I've been a substitute teacher in the Cherokee County schools. I'm a volunteer firefighter in Cherokee County, and I just believe that we need to get behind our teachers, behind our parents, to be a listening ear for them, and we need to be a voice for our kids. We need to really get into school and support these teachers and kids.
Excellent. All right, well, you have met our candidates, so now let's get to the questions. So we'll start with you, Tylor. First of all, there's been much discussion about future school consolidation after the closing of Marble Elementary and at the end of the school year last year, obviously. However, it seems like the county is going to hold on to the remainder of the schools, according to what we've been hearing in recent meetings, for now. So in light of the funding challenges that we obviously know about, what do you think is the best way for the school system to move forward?
So obviously this isn't something we're gonna solve here in a 30-minute debate. But going forward, obviously the voters and the taxpayers of Cherokee County, they like their community-based schools, and it's a good model. It helps the students be tied to their community. So I think going forward, it's not fiscally, I don't know how to put this. We're going to have to spend more money on the schools to keep them up. I think we've built schools in the past and then maybe haven't allocated the money that we need to have set aside to build new schools going forward. The system of small schools that we have now, I think it really supports the student. So I'd like to see that kept, but obviously we're going to have to work with the commissioners to get more money to be able to support them.
Sure, absolutely. Keesha, same question for you.
In consolidating the schools, I believe that right now it's not a good idea because you've got so many kids that are back with, just take like Martins Creek, you've got to consider if you was to close that school, you're going to have more transportation, which is not liable for our school buses right now. I mean, we struggle with our transportation. You're going to have more kids on the road. We've got to get these kids to school safe. We've got to get them home safe. Obviously, it's a known fact that our schools do need repair. If you take $80 million, what they say, to repair every single thing from all the schools in the county, and that's along with 3 brand new activity buses, which we strongly need. To me, that makes better sense right now to repair these schools, because if you close a school and it gets into a bigger school, you're going to take away the kids' time with the teachers. You're going to put more kids into a classroom, and the kids are not going to get the one-on-one time. It's going to put more stress on the teachers, more stress on the students. And if you go and try to build 3 different schools from kindergarten through 12th grade, you're looking at $180 million. And that's just, right now, that's just not feasible for the county. I know there's, on both sides, as a mother, I love the smaller classrooms. On the other side of the fence, as a substitute teacher, all the teachers would love to see a brand new school and brand new classrooms. But $180 million is just, it's just not there. And if it's not there, you go with what you have. So
Let's branch off that a little bit for my next question. Obviously, the school system's discussed asking for a $5 million match from the state. I'm sure you guys have heard about this $15 million, the grant or whatever. So that obviously would help build a new building for Tri-County, the Oaks Academy, some trade classes. Do you think this should be a priority over other projects like, say, some repairs to Murphy High School, Hiwassee Dam, Andrews, et cetera? Keesha?
no, I don't.
Okay.
Not at this time. I really don't, because Murphy and Hiwassee Dam are 2 of the oldest schools that are in our county right now. And, that's what you need to focus on. We need to focus on these structures being taken care of for our kids, to keep our kids safe.
Okay. Tyler?
So on that note, I have mixed feelings about this, but I know the county pulling $5 million out of a hat, out of a $35 million budget. You're gonna have to find it somewhere. But if we're going to treat the early college like a high school, I think they do need a proper building. They've kind of been shoved away in trailers for a long time, and there are needed repairs to the high school, or to Murphy High and Hiwassee Dam. But plans for those renovations, haven't really been pushed. So I think if going forward, if we're going to have 4 high schools, and they all 4 need to be in a permanent foundation building. So
Okay.
I think it's.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Next question. We'll start with Tyler on this one. Much has been made about funding new buildings, obviously, but what would you do as a school board member to improve the overall level of academic performance for teachers and students?
So I think we've got a great bunch of teachers in the county. Not take anything away from them. I think our students are some of the best in the state. As far as academic performance for the students, some of the things we're going to have to do, we're going to have to recruit teachers better. I mean, if it's incentives or sign-on bonuses or what it be. We got Georgia right across the border. We got Tennessee to the other side, both paying better. We've had highly qualified, experienced teachers leave in both directions. So we're going to have to do something to secure, math, science, those hard to fill teacher slots. That's going to be what's key to preparing our students for college.
Keesha.
I'm going to agree with Tyler on that answer. I think that losing teachers or principals to surrounding counties, especially going to Georgia, there's got to be some type of incentive that we can give teachers that are here, teachers that are coming in from college to become teachers. I think there needs to be a step up, for these staff members that are coming in or are there.
Okay. Okay. Next question, we'll start with Keesha. Another funding issue facing the system is the need for more school resource officers, guidance counselors, nurses, which we obviously have been talking about that at meetings here lately as well. How important is the need for each school to have those, and how feasible is it to find the funding to pay for them?
I think it's very important for SRO and nurses to be at all of our schools, because there are so many medical challenges for kids nowadays where they have to bring medication to school and they depend on this medication. For SRO maybe if, you could get retired veterans to come in and help protect the schools. It's, I'm sure, some of them will be honored to come in and, even if it's 3 or 4 hours, that's more than what we have right now to protect our kids. I strongly feel like if we're going to protect the powers up high, president, vice president, Congress, whatever, I feel that our children need to be protected just the same.
Tyler?
Obviously, with recent events, school security has been an issue. I don't know that it's feasible this year to add a nurse to every school and a SRO to every school, just because you're going from 4 to 12 SROs. How are we going to train all those SROs and have oversight? I think we could progressively expand SROs and nurses. Maybe add 2 this year and then try to add more in the future. I think just financially, it's going to be hard to add 8 SROs and 8 nurses in 1 year.
I think we touched on this a little bit a moment ago with you, Tyler. We'll get a little bit deeper here. Several studies in recent years ranked North Carolina as one of the worst states for teachers. What can the school board do to combat that trend and help Cherokee County retain its best educators?
Right. I think that's obviously a statewide issue. It's a Raleigh issue. As a school board, put pressure on the state legislator to do a better job of funding teacher pay. At the local level, we could offer incentives to teachers. We can supplement their salaries on top of what the state would pay. Obviously, all that's it's gonna take money. You're gonna have to prioritize keeping your teachers and expanding your facilities.
Keesha?
Definitely start out at the legislator and, let them see what they can do to help in that situation. There again, bringing the incentives back, into the question as before. There's got to be a better way to take care of teachers, because with having my 3 kids in the school system, I believe that having them in Cherokee County schools was the best thing that we ever done, was put them in the schools. They have received a wonderful education. We have some of the best teachers in the county that care for these kids and teach these kids, and I believe that there's a lot more that could be done for these teachers.
Okay. While school board members are voted on county-wide, they represent one of 3 districts. So, and you're obviously the large seat, so you guys are kind of just neutral ground here. So, Keesha, we'll start with you on this one. What do you think needs the most attention in overall, I guess, would be a good way to say that. How would you address it? What's the biggest issue you see?
The biggest issue that I really see from just being around in the school system is not having enough SRO and medical nurses in the school system. Okay. That is something that has definitely, in my opinion, has got to be worked on. We've got to make sure that these kids, when they are brought to school, that they are safe and they are taken care of, because, it's mandatory that they be there. And we have got to get these schools and these kids and staff members, keep them protected, and have a medical nurse there for these kids that's got to have medication and depend on medication, not depend on the teachers who are not medically trained, that are possibly having to give, the kids medication or oversee that.
Okay. Tyler?
So, I agree that building security is one of our main issues, but I think our aging facilities are probably our biggest issue in the county right now. Just like I said in the opening statement, the lack of a forward plan of building new buildings or renovating the ones we have. I think, if we renovate buildings, we could add security cameras, add locks to doors that aren't there. Some of our campuses are just laid out where they're almost impossible to secure right now. And I think if you address the facility issues going forward, you can address some of the security issues that might be addressed by an SRO. And I do agree with the nurses. It's hard on teachers to try to help a student with medications when they might not have a clue what the medication is or any reactions with it.
Okay. All right. Well, during your campaign, have you been in a classroom to observe teachers at work? Have you met with any school officials or attended PTO meetings? What other education or experience would you have that would better prepare you for a seat on the school board than, say, Keesha, vice versa on that? Start with you.
So, no big surprise. I'm fairly young. Haven't been out of the school system all that long. So, okay. I guess in the campaign process, I haven't been in the classroom. But 4 years ago today, I was a senior in high school. So, I understand what teachers are going through with class sizes and, 20-year-old textbooks and things like that. But I have met with Gina and talked about some of the big issues she has and what she thinks she needs to do going forward.
Okay. Keesha?
I have, with having the 3 kids in the school system, I have, been to several different schools just with sporting events. I've spoken with 3 of the principals throughout the county, spoken with several teachers, and, they all share the same ideas, that they want their schools improved, and you can tell by going in. I haven't been in all of the schools, but you can tell by going into the schools that there is major repairs that, needs to take place for these teachers and these students.
Okay. All right, Keesha, next question starts out with you. While reading, writing, and arithmetic are the primary elements of education, many other classes, art, music, drama, etc., have been being cut or eliminated in the past few years. What do you think is the biggest thing students need to be taught before they graduate that is not being taught currently?
I will give you a wonderful example. Kids in high school, they need to be taught how to fill out job applications. They need to be taught how to fill out a checking account. They need to be taught how to fill out a college application. They need to be taught how to fill out a work application. And speaking of having 2 in high school right now, until my husband and I showed this and taught this to our kids, they had no idea. So sometimes it's the small things. It's like the common sense stuff. If you push education on kids, make sure that they know how to go and speak to someone at a college or a university, or how to fill out an application, because once you look into small stuff like that, a lot of these kids don't know how to do it. They don't know how to help start preparing for the future outside of high school. I think that's something that really could be addressed, is helping these kids fill out these applications and get these checking accounts started or savings accounts, so they know how to start helping build themselves.
Okay. Tyler, same question for you.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. I guess I don't know if it's the norm, but I had some excellent teachers in like some of the non-state tested, maybe an English class or something, that I know a civics class that they definitely put some emphasis on real world skills. But going forward from that, we've seen a decline in technical education in school as well. Murphy High used to have masonry, carpentry, all kinds of classes in the vocational building that have kind of died away. I think part of that is we've put such pressure on students to excel in the AP and honor classes, and you have a GPA race that they might not realize that, hey, I like to build things or something like that, and that really builds a good foundation for any kind of profession. So I would really like to see maybe honors versions of technical classes be offered, so that students can get some real world experience on things that might help push them into a career, or if they decide they want to go further and take that into college, then that's great.
Okay. After the selection, there's going to be a major shakeup in the composition of the school board. So what's your opinion of the job current board members and the superintendent are doing? How would you work with them to get things done? Tyler, we'll start with you on that one. I
think they're doing a good job right now. Like I said, not to beat a dead horse. I think the big issue being creating a plan, and I mean you can pull out 8 plans, and everybody's not going to get behind one of them, but you definitely have to narrow down the outliers, and instead of just talking big pictures, you're gonna have to take action on these plans. So I agree. Going forward, the board's going to change composition quite a bit, but I think I know some of the board members and could work with them well to build that plan.
Excellent. Keesha?
I think the board members have been doing a very good job so far. I think what it basically comes down to is having the right candidates elected and put into position, and get your numbers in front of you, and get the repairs for, if you want to talk about schools, get the repairs for school. Once you have the elected people in, you have your agenda in front of you, and you work. And not everybody is going to support your decision. There's many different routes that you can go with everything that's going on in the schools. But I just feel like if you get the people that elected in, get your agenda in front of you, and form a team and always, keep the kids and the teachers priority. As long as you're doing something for the kids and doing it for the kids, I feel like you can't go wrong.
Okay. Studies have shown that having educational choices in the community, like charter schools, private schools, homeschooling even, can help raise the bar in increasing public school standards. So, Keesha, we'll start with you on this one. With that in mind, how would you interact with other educational options?
Well, first of all, if you talk about homeschooling, your county's automatically losing money on that. That's why I feel like if we, make repairs to schools and bring SROs in and bring medical staff in, get these schools back up to par where the kids have something to be proud of. They take pride in their school, knowing that when they come to school, they have something, to look forward to. I think when that gets finished, I think, we would see some decrease in kids going away from the county and parents pulling kids from homeschooling because, a lot of parents don't want bigger schools with, smaller classrooms and having that education one-on-one time taken away from students and teacher time.
Tylor?
Yeah, I'll agree. Building on that, we can't really look down on homeschool or charter schools. We need to build the public school system to be desirable. So obviously, I support parents and students having the right to homeschool or use charter school or whatever. But the goal of the school board should be that the public school system is such a good system that students and parents would want to be part of that system.
Okay. Parents have expressed concern that there are too few guidance counselors to help students plan for life after graduation. What more should schools do to ensure that students seeking to further their education are given adequate assistance and every opportunity to qualify for scholarships? Tylor?
Yeah, I think going back, that can be built into some of the non-state tested classes. I know teachers they're stretched on curriculum and making sure they meet the state requirements, but I think they can definitely help with pushing students towards some of the information they need. I know I had some great guidance counselors that I was probably getting an email every day about this school had opened up applications or this scholarship was coming due. I think guidance counselors that really have the student in mind, they really help.
Keesha?
I do feel that there could be more. Like Tylor said, the teachers are being stretched to the limits of what they have to do right now. My daughter, which being a senior in high school, she has a wonderful guidance counselor, and she has really helped her, and we've actually got her enrolled in a great university. She's going to go do her education as being a teacher, and she's based it on the teachers that she's had in Cherokee County. But I really think, if you start putting the pressure on teachers to help support and guidance plus on top of what they have to teach, that's just adding more to their job. I really feel like that our schools could benefit from, more guidance counselors.
Okay. All right. Well, that brings us to our last question already, guys. Start out with you on this one, Keesha. More emphasis continues to be placed on end-of-grade testing in public schools. What would you do on a local level to ensure that public schools teach students more than just the answers to the test, even though the test can obviously determine the school's grade as well as pay raises for teachers?
I feel as a parent of the school system, getting in the classroom and supporting this teacher or supporting all the teachers, finding out what we as parents or we as community people can help support these teachers. I know they're really stressed. Kids go starting into about third grade. Kids are worried about end of year testing. It's all about test. And I think just getting behind these teachers, asking what you can do outside of it or come inside and help take a kid to another area and read with them so that teacher can work on another level with other kids. I just think it's about getting in that classroom or classrooms and supporting the teachers.
Okay. Tylor?
Yeah, I definitely agree that the parents have to support the teacher to meet those goals. And those end of grade tests, those are stressful on teachers as well as students. But I think just going forward that we have to understand that the test doesn't always represent the education. So you take it with a grain of salt that if test scores go down or up, that you really need to take a holistic view of what the students are learning. And so I think our teachers are doing a good job of that. But parents as well can do just as much of a job of helping teach their students.
Sure. Okay, so with that in mind, that wraps up the question portion. We're going to get our closing remarks now. Keesha, you have 1 minute if you want to say anything in closing.
Okay. I would just like to say that I've had a wonderful opportunity being out in the public, meeting these teachers and talking to these parents and talking with the principals. It's been amazing at the stuff that people have given me in guidance and helps, give me supportive things to work on. I love that my 3 kids have moved into this county. We come from Tennessee, so we moved into this. And when my daughter was in 2nd grade, it actually took her till 4th grade to get caught up from coming in from a Tennessee school to North Carolina. So I think, thank these teachers whenever and principals whenever you see them out. I think they do a fantastic job, and it would be an honor to be on a school board and support these teachers and support these parents and be a voice for the kids and make them show that somebody is wanting to have them take pride in their school and their schoolwork. I think we have an amazing school system with amazing staff and teachers, and I think they need a lot of support.
Okay. Tyler, your closing remarks?
Just thank WKRK and Scout and Journal for putting on this debate and really helping inform the citizens when they vote. A lot of times these primary elections, have low turnout, and I think this debate will definitely help people see the issues. Just through this process, I've really enjoyed getting feedback from everybody. Historically, there's not that much representation of youth in the political process, and I think I've seen more young people interested in this election than I have in the past, and it's really been good to see people interested in local government.
Well, on behalf of the Cherokee Scout, Andrews Journal, and WKRK, thank you guys for coming in this afternoon to do this debate. Again, I thought it was very productive, gave some good answers, and obviously the people can now go to the polls with a little bit of options in mind, I think. So these are your 2 nominees, Republican nominees for the at-large seat at the Cherokee County Board of Education. I'm Kevin Hensley, the moderator. We're going to turn it back over now to Tim Radford of WKRK. Tim?
All right, thank you very much. And don't forget the May primary is May 8th for the Republican primary. And in this primary, Republicans can vote and independents can vote. There is no Democratic primary this year, but in November, the Democrats will be running. But a lot of these races will be determined in May because of the unusual configuration of the candidates. But again, the deadline to change your affiliation is April 13th. And early voting will start, I don't have the exact date in front of me right now, but you can check. When is it? April 19th. These guys are prepared.
They're on top of it.
They're on top. So April 19th will be the early voting, and we invite you to share these videos that these candidates have taken time out of their schedule to help you make informed decisions when you go to the poll, and we certainly appreciate you, and we also appreciate Kevin and Matthew from the Cherokee Scout and the Andrews Journal for making this possible as well. And David Brown, who couldn't be here today, but we understand that he had something come up at the last minute. So we are going to say goodbye now. This is Tim Radford, 105.5 FM, 1320 AM, cable TV channel 25, and worldwide at country.am. Have a great day, everyone.